But it's like a badge of honor for like white dudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what's your bitterest IPA? I've heard people ask that question. Like, really?
I mean, my go-to beer is an ESB, which is an extra special bitter.
But it's not that bitter.
Exactly.
The Red Hook is terrific.
Mm-hmm.
The ESB, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would like a triple IPA, please. I would like it as if I was sailing.
It's like, if you could just take the hops and shove them up my ass while I drink this Coors Light, that'd be great.
That way it tastes the same going in as it is going out.
Yeah, I got a bushel of hops in my ass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's probably usable.
I think we have something.
All right. Anyway, let's begin.
So I'm standing there with a bushel of hops in my ass, and the girl asked me, do I want a sour? Do I want a sour? Look at how much hops shoved up my ass right now. Hell yeah, I want a sour.
And what's the deal with airline food? Oh, gosh.
And then I start stripping, and I'm looking around for the shower, and she's like, no, a sour.
Okay. That's funny. All right, let's do it.
Improv.
Yeah. That was a jaunty intro.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Instagram and Bluesky at namely90s with a 90s or namely90s.bsky.social. Find us on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s and get signed up for one of our support levels. Woo, Riverside FM.
Yeah, we're trying a new recording system where you're a little bit quieter than usual, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like automatic somehow, but I can't turn off the automaticness.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to try that next time. Yeah, I just noticed it on the intro. Interesting. But yeah, this is our last episode of 2023 before the Christmas specials start on Thursday.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, thank you.
Yeah.
I know our listens have been down this year. Our downloads have been down this year, but that just means we got rid of the bots and are talking to real people, right?
Yeah. You have a Fraser Crane. You have a Fraser Crane vibe going on there. Like, hello, listeners.
So before this, I had a cocktail or two. No, I had a boozy hot chocolate, and I had a Handsome Marty, which is a perfect martini with a dry rye gin, and yeah. So I'm a little punchy, and we were in loud places, so I had to talk loud. Yeah. So my voice is a little shot.
Did I tell you about the time we all went out for drinks and we went to a martini bar at the end? I started off with like a flavored martini, which was delicious. But then I was just so loaded that I took I had a Vesper martini, and it was just straight alcohol. And that was a big mistake. I'm just going to say that. I couldn't even eat breakfast the next morning. I was so hungover.
Vesper, do they still use gin in that, or is that just it's a lemon drop type?
No, it was just straight liquor. Let's see, what's the recipe?
Because
It's 3 ounces gin, 1 ounce vodka, half ounce Lillet Blanc aperitif, and a lemon twist.
So
it tasted like nothing. That's how you know, by the way, that's how you know you're drunk. When the liquor tastes like nothing. That's happened to me twice in my life.
Skilled bartender.
No. It's just basically rubbing alcohol with a slice of lemon in it. I mean, let's be honest. And like a sprig of rosemary.
Gin. Yeah.
But I mean, good gin is noticeably smoother than bad gin.
I mean, it depends on what you call good gin. Like I don't like juniper.
But there are some that's, I don't know. Hey, have you ever been to did I ever tell you about the Patterson House in Nashville?
No, maybe.
It's this like a hole in the wall sort of cocktail place. You walk in, it's kind of unassuming from the outside. It looks a little bit industrial. You walk in, there's like a small lobby that's very like warmly appointed. There's like a guy with a mustache and like a denim apron and a sport coat with those like the leather patches on the elbows.
Mm-hmm.
A whole like he like pulls the velvet curtain back and allows you to step into the dimly lit sort of bar area. And then they come out to your table and like flame the orange into the drink and do all this sorts of wacky stuff. Some of the best drinks I've ever had. So if you're ever in Nashville, hit up the Patterson House if they're not closed after COVID.
That's kind of like where we went. We went to Sidecar. I think you're familiar with Sidecar, to close out the night. They're still there. I left so we can record. They make good drinks here. But it's also like a little speakeasy-ish downstairs. And there was a jazz band playing and it was dimly lit. And they made me, in 2017, one of their employees made me a cocktail that I liked so much that I took a photo of the recipe that they wrote down in their book. And I continually am the guy that goes back and I'm like, can you make this? Can you make this? And for the last 5 years, they've not had the specific gin that goes in the martini that he made until tonight. So
what makes a good cocktail is when it just has like 8 different one-word things you've never even heard of.
I mean, or it's simplistic and like classic. Like this one, it's like perfect martini is half sweet, half dry vermouth. So it's gin, vermouth, but it's the type of gin that gives it its character, and then et cetera, et cetera.
What I'm liking is any cocktail that has mezcal in it. Ooh, getting into that.
Mezcal's the smoky tequilas, right? The barrel aged ones.
Yeah, there's one at the place I used to that we go to here in Spokane all the time. It's called the Oaxacan, and it's just like sort of grapefruit notes, and then you've got the mezcal and a large ice cube. It's just so good.
You know, it seems anything Oaxacan always seems to taste good.
Well, maybe we'll get together and I'll take you to that place. They have a location in Seattle now, so right on Green Lake.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Well, that was 10 minutes on liquor.
Was it? Because
damn near.
Because the timer says 12 minutes. I don't know how much we
about 2 minutes, I think.
Faffed about before.
Faffing about. Oh, yes. Speaking of faffing about.
What's it?
The Grand Tour releasing its final.
No.
Yeah, I think February.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's the final one.
Because they just suspended Top Gear indefinitely.
Correct. But Clarkson's Farm coming back.
Really? Oh,
yeah. 2 more seasons.
I guess they did contract him for 5.
Yeah, no, there's a little bit of the whole Meghan Markle thing. And I was like, ain't no way he's getting fired over that. And then ultimately he didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. If you keep your head out of the water long enough, people forget they're irate.
Be like, she kind of is a bitch. No, just kidding. I don't actually know.
I have no opinion either way. I just want the new adult Happy Meals at
the problem with adding adult to anything is I just immediately expect it to be like a dildo in the box. You know?
I mean, so they have new McNugget Buddy toys from like when we were kids and before. And like half of them look like they're just dildos dressed up with.
But they also look like mildly offensive caricatures in some of them.
Yes.
That's the issue.
But that's because the DJ guy that they've partnered with wears some of the, like, I think he wears one of those outfits, and then they're all like related to him and his friends.
I've always said nothing worse, like for say animators or cartoonists, to try to draw someone of a different race when they are not that race. Like, it's a real problem.
Remind me to send you, I think it was either this year or last year, DC Comics was trying to do, I think it was either Hispanic or Mexican Heritage Month. And, but only had white people drawing the covers.
No. Yes. All right. Well, that was enough on that, I suppose. Should we move in to the episode?
Sure. And it circles back to what we started with. I mean, I appreciate you trying to tee up Frasier earlier because I wanted to talk about that, but we don't have to. I think it deserves a second season. The last 3 episodes were finally decent.
Are you saying you think Donald Trump should get a second season?
Yes, Kelsey Grammer might cancel himself supporting Trump in the new year, so who knows? Yeah, goodbye Beast from the MCU. But yeah, we're here to talk. We're here to announce. This is the announcement episode of our 12 Days of Christmas specials, the 4th annual. It's 2023, yeah, hopefully this one brings back the listeners to what we have to do, because we've cut down the format, even though some of them are still an hour long. If you remember, if you've been a long time listener, we do 12 episodes from the 21st of December each day until January 1st. And we bring on a new guest each day. They're podcasts, other podcasts, hosts, friends of ours. This year we have, I think, 75% returning people. And if you're one of our friends and haven't returned this year, hit us up. We'll do something.
Yeah, definitely. And remember, this is your favorite podcasts are not releasing much, if any, content during this holiday season, but we give you the gift of 12 fresh episodes as you go about driving, shopping, going to family functions. We're there, but not.
That was the idea. That was the intent. A way to give back to our community, give back to our listeners. And hey, if it's an episode with your favorite podcast and they're not putting out an episode in these next 2 weeks, we got you. We got you, fam. So yeah, we're gonna, if you were following our socials, last Thursday we posted the annual Coachella style to of upcoming episodes, but we're going to announce them. You don't have to wonder what's coming up. Day 1, January 21st, we have Snescapades, we have Chase Keys and Emmy Zero coming on, and they're going to be talking about the Adventures of Pete and Pete episode, Oh Christmas Pete. And we recorded these in order this year, so in the last month and a half we've recorded 11 out of 12 of these. So this was, I think, end of October we recorded this. It was fun to talk to Chase and Emmy again. They're kind of in a new like reboot, fine tuning new season, I guess, of Snescapades. I got to watch another episode of Pete and Pete, which is one of my favorite 90s shows for kids. And Andrew, any thoughts? Any tease?
No, it's all a blur at this point.
That was the Garbage Man. It was
that was deeply unpleasant, a lot of it. So you can hear me bash that later.
All right. Do you want to go back and forth? Or do you want
yeah, sure. So then on day 2, we chatted again, caught up with Scott Murphy from All 90s Action All the Time. We discussed an episode of Frasier. Speaking of Frasier, which was, it was good to get back into it. You know, Frasier's been sort of in the limelight again. Zeitgeist, sure.
Hopefully we get to that episode before he cancels himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the first Christmas Frasier episode, because we did do a previous Christmas Frasier episode. This one's Miracle on 3rd or 4th Street. He doesn't have the holiday spirit because Freddie doesn't come visit him. And then people think he's homeless at the cafe after getting in a fight.
Freddie
with his
needs
father.
a nanny, and then he drives off in his luxury car.
Yep. Well, except he forgot the keys inside the cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers. Day 3, December 23rd, we have our friends Gaz and Dange from the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow back on to talk about the Cheers episode, Love Me, Love My Car. And not really a Christmas episode.
Not really a Christmas episode, and I don't love 80s television, even though it's technically 90s television.
Right. One of the most watched sitcoms of all time. And yes, it was a season 11 episode, so not the best.
It was like when we watched Married with Children. It just didn't carry over into the 90s that effectively.
Butter, the phone sex operator. Sorry. To tease that one, Sam Malone, main character of Cheers, Ted Danson's character, tries to grift a woman out of a Corvette
that he sold fair and square to her husband,
who died.
Somehow save his bar, even though it was probably worth like 10 grand.
Because Chris Alley burned down the bar.
On Christmas Eve, we are joined by the podcast One of Us is Bored with Callum and Sam, again returning guests. We watched The Simpsons Grift of the Magi, which this is probably the first Simpsons episode we did for the holiday specials.
Yep.
What is it? The school gets bought by an evil toy corporation, and they use the kids for market research.
Mm-hmm. It's the Funzo episode, which I thought was better. I remember it being better in my head. But Callum had notes, Andrew had notes, and
I have notes on everything.
True. But after we recorded, Callum asked me, why did you pick this episode out of all the Christmas Simpsons episodes? And for some reason, I had thought there wasn't a Christmas episode between Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, which is 1989, and this one, which was 1999.
Your response is because I hate you all.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. The Simpsons is fun.
Yes. But it was starting to get to the era where it was like, Season 6 was better.
But like the thing is, I'll watch The Simpsons. I'd watch any episode of The Simpsons happily. Some of these, though, were like a chore to get through.
Was the next one a chore to get through?
Yes, it was, but I wasn't on the recording.
That's right.
This marks the first time I think I've ever not been on a Namely 90s recording. Like live. I mean,
yes. On day 5,
Christmas Day.
From Everything 90s, Christmas Day, joins me as, I guess, my co-host for the Recess episode. Yes, Mikey, Santa Claus does shave. And scheduling conflict or something popped up that was terrible last minute, and Andrew couldn't make it. So he recorded his thoughts, which it's placed at the end of the episode.
I think it had to do something with courtroom proceedings that I was involved in. So.
Yes, Andrew decided to go see what Night Court was all about. The new old NBC sitcom that ran for 11 seasons. And
so my question is, did you do the intro or did you do something different?
You'll have to listen to find out. Certainly tried. And then realized, since you never have it written down, I didn't have it written down.
All right. So we get into Boxing Day.
Oh, before that, I am going to be on an episode of Everything 90s in the new year. So not only have we recorded 12, or will we have recorded 12 extra episodes in the last month and a half, but Andrew and I recorded one extra episode of someone else's podcast.
Yes.
And I did 3 other recordings for other podcasts that all come out either this month or the new year. And I'll be on an episode of her 90s versus 2000s debate as a moderator and guest host. I think the first or second week of the new year. And then again, I will be on as a debater for against our friends Chase Keys from Snescapades over Nickelodeon shows, and I will actually have the 2000s spot. So come and check me betray our podcast and play devil's advocate for Nickelodeon shows from the 2000s.
That's right. Brandon gets around.
I get around. The moderating I did was for 90s video games, which is an awesome episode. Adrian is on, and what was the other podcast? It's you gotta check it out in the new year. But sorry.
Yeah.
Andrew,
so anyway, Boxing Day, December 26th, we have Morgan from the Zeitgeist Radio podcast. And we talk about That 70s Show, the best Christmas ever. Consequently, not the best Christmas episode ever, but watchable.
Yeah. Out of the 12, what fourth or third segment would you put it in? Upper, mid, lower?
Mid.
Mid? Okay.
Sorry, you said 12. Were you talking about Mila Kunis's age? Okay.
Yes.
But anyway.
But yes, Morgan is a friend from IRL. We're in she's our accompanist for our
musical
improv. Thank you. Yes. And I think I said the right word this time, but I definitely had trouble saying it.
Yeah.
I think I said the wrong word. I said accompany.
Wow.
Yes, I said accompanist.
That works on multiple levels.
Day 7, Raph Stitt comes back, who is now host of Screen Age Wastelands, The Canon, sorry for my lisp there, an essential movies watch list. Raph wrote for Screen Age Wasteland when we had him on, we had him and Rocco on from
the other
straight to DVD.
Yeah.
And they kind of finished that up at the beginning of the year, and so we got Raph on. He's doing his own podcast now for Screen Age Wasteland, which based off of their canon list of the best movies of all time. You can find us on an episode of The Canon, their final episode of the year, which came out in late November. And we watched Shawshank, and we were given the note, we can't nitpick, we can't be negative about it. We're just looking for the positives, which, if knowing us,
I was able to control myself.
Yeah, I think it went well. I think we could go from we could do that. We could just be positive people from now on.
I don't know.
And congratulations to Raph. They got renewed for a 3rd season. So check out Screen Age Wasteland.
Excellent.
The Canon.
We watched Martin, Go Tell It on the Martin. This is a sitcom from the 90s that features, is it Steve Martin? Is it Martin Short? Is it Martin Lawrence? It's Martin Lawrence. Tune in.
Well, I did I say Martin Short?
You did. On December 28th, we have Jamie from the 80s and 90s Uncensored. We talk about Ellen, the Christmas show. Has there been a sitcom character with less charisma than Ellen DeGeneres? I just think it's funny that like she was playing an attractive single straight woman.
Yeah.
None of those things were true at the time.
True. Well, I mean, she hadn't come. I don't think she had publicly come out until the next season or 2 seasons later. But yes,
it was deeply unwatchable,
painfully obvious.
Yeah. I mean, not that that's a problem, but it's just like it's funny that it's all the stuff that she isn't. Yeah. Anyway, so tune into that. I don't even remember the plot to that really. Some guy was too nice. Some boyfriend was too nice, and someone else couldn't figure out what gift to buy her mom, so she bought everything. Yep.
And then there's a bad new hire at the bookstore, and she be crazy. Also, I was on an episode of the 80s and 90s Uncensored. I don't know if it may come out today when you're listening to this. I believe it's their Christmas episode, so sometime between now and the end of the year. I will be on their Christmas. Oh, it comes out on Christmas Day. It's their Christmas Day episode. And I was on the 80s and 90s Uncensored talking about Blues Clues. So after you listen to us talk about Recess with Shalina, you can even go further back in your regressive childhood and talk about Blues Clues. And fun fact, I was the only one who actually watched all of the episode for that recording. So yes, you're welcome. On the 29th, we have another returning. This is a 4-time returner, just like the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow. This is Patrick M. Dunn, who... from a very special podcast, who joined us. I believe, if we were looking back at this, he was our first ever guest.
Yes. For the 12 Days of Christmas specials, I believe, or at all.
Yes. I don't think we had a guest before that. Yeah. Because we did the Halloween special. We did Podcast of Horror 1. And we didn't have a guest for that one. And yeah, it was Patrick M. Dunn was our first ever guest. So next year we might have to make him a 5 Timers Club jacket.
Yeah, well, we'll send it in advance.
Yeah. And he came on to talk about Wings. We got to grace Andrew with the beautiful Nantucket show Wings.
Yeah, I mean, despite our misgivings about the airport and the logistics of it, yet another crazy lunatic holding people at gunpoint in a Christmas episode.
That gets away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, the episode was called Insanity Clause.
Then on December 30th, we talked to Cowboy Andy from the Cowboy Jeff and Andy podcast. Is he go by Cowboy? Yeah. Okay. And we spoke about Animaniacs, which was like a 2 to 3 part episode.
It's like half their Christmas episode.
It was like a Christmas carol and then like kind of a Christmas song.
The Nativity. They do the Nativity in a musical format.
I could have done without it.
Fair. But we had that episode picked because Andy Watson is another he's in the musical improv, and so we talked to him about his Cowboy Andy character persona, and also the rest of the podcast, which is kind of like a local history, government, current events thing for where I live. It was kind of fun.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, we reference
California Gold with Huell Hauser. On New Year's Eve, the 31st, we have Matt and Lauren from Hops Geek News back, and forget to ask them anything about beer. But we do talk about some geeky stuff that they did in the year.
Hops. I thought they were really into bunnies. I thought that was their thing. No? Okay.
And we talked about the Boy Meets World episode, Santa's Little Helper, which was a season 1 Boy Meets World episode.
Rough. Season 1 anything.
Season 1 Boy Meets World, even more so, is much different from what people remember down the line. But it had a good positive message too.
It did. But that was a nice recording. We had fun with them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they were drunk and they thought my jokes were funny.
I don't think they've been drinking.
One of them cracked open a cold one at the beginning. I swear I heard like a, oh, you should enter the sound effect there that I created some years ago.
I've already edited and uploaded that episode.
No, I meant just now when I made the sound with my mouth.
Sure. 32. Got it.
Anyway, and then on day 12, which is New Year's Day, we talk with the folks over at We Thought This Was Good, and we talk about Doug.
So we haven't recorded this yet. We're recording this in a few days. And these, this is a new friends of the podcast. Yeah. And it's Doug's Christmas story, which is kind of a tragic one. Andrew might have a little PTSD with this one, you know. It's Pork Chop, Doug's dog, gets put into a kill shelter for some reason. I think.
Why did I laugh at that? Oh my God.
He bites someone, and then he bites the rich girl in town. The rich girl in town wants the dog killed, but Pork Chop was like Doug's Christmas gift when he was a little kid. So it's a lot of emotional things, and we'll have Andrew laughing callously.
Laughing inappropriately. That's what I do. But it's gonna be a real good time. So remember, check it out.
Join us.
Starts
Nick and Jim.
Yeah,
their dads just like Andrew. And sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just gonna wrap it up. I was gonna say it starts one episode a day, starting December 21st, all the way through a New Year's Day. And we will be back with you the following Monday with another brand new episode. Like clockwork. Few things are certain in this society, except the podcast being out every Monday.
Listening, yeah. And Namely 90s Minute. This is the last one for the year, and we'll be back either the first or second week of January.
And that said, let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helped stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of our 100th Namely 90s Minute, we're going to make you sad and stuff over Jack Frost. Jack Frost is a 1998 Christmas fantasy comedy film starring the second live-action Batman, Arnold's girlfriend and twins, Viva Rock Vegas Fred Flintstone, the younger version of Charlize Theron and Mighty Joe Young, the youngest Lawrence brother from Brotherly Love, the voice of Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack Horseman, and Stevie Ray Vaughan as Stevie Ray Vaughan. The story begins in a fictional Colorado town where Mr. Mom is a lead singer in a rock band on the verge of hitting the big time. Beetlejuice neglects his wife and 11-year-old son in favor of his band, hoping to get a record deal. But in a rare moment together with his son, they build a snowman and he gifts his son the harmonica he's had since the day his son was born and tells them that it's magical and if the son plays it, he'll hear it, wherever he is. To make up for being a bad dad, he's going to take his family to a winter cabin, but then gets called into a gig that can make or break his career, so he leaves them. On the way to the gig, he realizes his mistake and borrows his best friend's car to drive back to his family. But on the way, he encounters a bad snowstorm, crashes his car, and dies. And that's Jack Frost in an... 1 year later, the son is sad and depressed over his father's death and has an emotional breakdown shoveling snow. He makes another snowman that bears as much resemblance to his father as possible in 90s animatronics and CG technology, and then plays the harmonica, which summons the soul of his father and places it in the snowman. Snowman Vulture reconnects with his son and convinces him to rejoin the hockey team and stop being sad because his dad is dead. When winter is over, he starts to melt, so his son takes him into the mountains where it's colder, where that cabin was. Snowman Birdman calls his wife and tells her to pick their son up, and by the time she gets there, he's melted fully to reveal his specter form to his son and her, before returning to being dead again and leaving his son without a father and his wife without a husband. And that's Jack Frost in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show. Well, it's time for another Quotely 90s from our friends across the pond, Gaz and Dange.
Take it away.
Hey there, Brandon and Andrew. It's Gaz and Dange from TIDRP, your brother horseman in this retro apocalypse.
Today we have a little quiz for you, a memory game if you will, that Gaz has lazily named Quotely 90s.
This week we're sending you a quote and see if you can guess its origins from some piece of pop culture from the 90s.
Just remember, our worlds weren't as interconnected then as we lived across the pond and the internet still ran on coal.
We'll also, because we're copying you, do multiple readings and either do a poor imitation of the character / person who said it, or poor imitations of whoever we feel like.
And if you're lucky, you'll hear me slip into my terribly offensive English accent.
Is that enough of a setup for you lads? Are you ready for Quotely 90s?
Name the movie and if possible the character that said this. Bonus points for the actor.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet. Oh.
Yeah, for a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24. Yeah.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet.
Okay. For a chase.
For a chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24.
No. And then it stops.
What are they saying?
For a chase, as in a chaser.
Oh. He recommends a 1924 Cabernet?
Yeah, apparently.
So this movie probably takes place in the past.
Possibly.
Because, like, yes, wine gets better as it ages, but I think there's a limit.
True.
Right.
But, you know, French wines, and maybe it's a European movie.
Is it a World War II movie?
Well, here's the thing. Are they...
or era?
Are they doing this quotely for the upcoming month of January, where we don't know what they're doing? Or are they doing it for the current month of December, which I know what their 2 Christmas episodes are?
Oh, yeah. What are they?
Well, the last one was Nightmare Before Christmas. And the previous one was... Oh, there's so many out right now. I don't remember.
I can't imagine it being The Nightmare Before Christmas, but...
Yeah, I don't think so. Was there a cardinal in The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Ooh, a cardinal.
Am I cheating just by knowing that it's... because? So I hear cardinal, I immediately think Father Ted, but that's a TV show, right? The TV show they wanted us to watch. They said movie. They said movie.
They did say movie.
And who chases with wine?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird unless you're eating something like
Bill and Ted.
What?
Right? Bill and Ted?
I don't know.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what this is from.
I would guess that it's Bill and Ted's not Excellent Adventure, because that came out in 89. And they try to do 90s quotes for us, I think. So Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventure, where they do some time traveling, I think. I don't know. Something about it. I did an Namely 90s minute on it, and I believe there's a cardinal.
I'll defer to you because I had no idea.
Okay, I'm going to say... Well, then who would the character be? I don't know. Keanu Reeves as Ted.
Sure, why not? Let's go with it. We're not going to get this one.
Characters. And yes, we're going with Bill and Ted's Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventure. Let's see if we got it. Let's see if it even plays. Not currently playing. There it is.
Time to squash and buckle up for the answer.
For Chase, the Cardinal recommends his excellent 24 Cabernet. You get Ebony, you're too young.
Was said by Porthos, played by Oliver Platt in the Disney's 1993 adaptation of The Three Musketeers.
Not only was this a huge hit, it turned Chris O'Donnell into a household name and, in true 90s style, had a killer song to accompany it. And it still is, and I don't care what anyone else thinks.
And if you want to hear about the Three Musketeers, then tune in next season in January 2024 when we discuss it. And if Gaz has his way, at long length.
Find it at your platform of choice. Now, back over to the villainous Cardinal Andrew and Brandon Rochefort.
Wow.
All for one and more for me.
Wow, we just got totally wrecked by that. That's okay.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
The face I made was, there is no way I've seen that. That was the face I made.
I think I've seen it. Like, I mean, I haven't seen it in 30 years, but I think I've seen parts of it on television. Three Musketeers, Disney, 1993 film. Who was in that? It was Kiefer. Yeah, that's what I thought. Kiefer Sutherland, Charlie Sheen, Chris O'Donnell, Tim Curry. So I'm surprised you haven't seen.
Wow, when I typed
Jack
that in,
Bauer.
It came up with Mickey, Donald, Goofy, the Three Musketeer movie, and I'm like, this is not right. Well, there you go. We got destroyed.
Yep. Great way to end the year.
Yeah. Our miserable failure.
Yeah. But if you like your retro with an equal helping of 80s to wash down the 90s, check out the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow on your platform of choice and follow up with those wascally wabbits in the new year, January 2024. They release their episodes every Wednesday, and I believe they're scheduled to have their first episode out, if everything stays the course, on the 10th of January. And if you're looking for something to listen to between now and their appearance on our own Christmas specials, they have their 2-part Christmas special this year, which is already out. You can find it on your platform of choice, and you'll even catch us delivering some quotely 90s to Gaz and Dange, which are usually relevant to our next episode. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Do you want to do this BuzzFeed quiz to end the year, or do you want to end it on a low note?
This is quick, right?
There are 3 questions.
Let's just do it real quick.
This is what 90s toy is under your tree, or can we guess what 90s toy you deserve for Christmas?
And then it says ho ho ho?
Question mark. By Kevin Smith, not that one. BuzzFeed staff from 2015. There's 3 questions. The first one is, what is your mood right now? Happy, bored, tired, mad, indifferent, horny, annoyed, or hungry, or lazy?
Tired.
I'm currently indifferent.
Which 90s cartoon was your favorite? Was it Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Angry Beavers, Real Monsters, Daria, South Park, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, or Pokemon? Well, it's Pokemon, but we both would say that.
I mean, Pokemon started late 90s. You could do Pokemon. I'll take Rugrats and or South
The next
Park.
question. Oh my gosh.
The next question is, pick one. There's 9 different gifts. Most of them are red boxes with white bows. There's 2 golden ones and 2 white boxes with red bows, and one's just clip art.
Yeah.
And as always, you can find this quiz in
I like the top right one where it's like a mixture of different wrappings, because that's how I grew up with stuff.
Fair. I like the one on the middle left, which is wrapped with a really exotic bow and stuff like an ornament and pieces of
like a fur, fur tree.
Yeah. In the bow.
And I got Pokemon cards. Gotta catch them all.
Wow, I wonder if that's because you picked Pokemon.
And what did you get?
I got a Super Soaker.
Hey, that's about right.
It shows the Super Soaker 50. Soak up your family. They'll be pissed, but you'll enjoy it.
Fill, pump, and blast. That's all I have to say. Fill, pump, and blast with your friends all day long.
And that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s and this year of regular editions of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. But right now, coming up on Thursday, you can start our Christmas specials daily until the first of the year. You can find us on Instagram, Bluesky, and YouTube at Namely 90s with 90s, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s, and give us some ho-ho holiday love. Finally, you can contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Ho Ho Holiday Love, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's
Goodbye.
Andrew. Wishing you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hanukkah, I think, is over at this point. And we'll catch you on Thursday for our 12 Days of Christmas Specials, Year 4.
This is the point at which we should just have like the test pattern come up and start playing the national anthem. It's the end of the year.